What is up, Farmstrong Nation? I am so excited for another episode in this series from the source. I have a super special guest with me today, Erik Wilson, who is an applicator out of California. He is the founder of the group My Job Depends on Ag, and he has seen a lot of things. I'm so excited for him to tell the story about what it's like to be a family farmer, be any kind of farmer, I guess, or a conventional farmer or an organic farmer, and kind of the complexities of bringing a crop, whatever your crop may be, from a seed to harvest, to create a living for your family, and then also to create really amazing food for the world. So, Erik, introduce yourself. So, kind of tell me what's your background, and for maybe people who don't know you, how did you get in charge of a group that now has 72,000 people?
Well, it's been really humbling to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Uh, a lot of people may be surprised to learn I grew up in the city. My parents weren't farmers, and neither were theirs. So for me to end up farming and being in the agricultural world has been a nice ride for me personally. I've always been attracted to agriculture growing up, and I have to pinch myself, to be honest with you, when I wake up. Still, been doing it since I'm 43 now, so I've been
Yeah.
out here since 97, so 20 years. Yeah, so I've been doing this about 20 years now. So um, I was one of those guys, just like probably like yourself. I don't know. I didn't pay attention much to social media.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't think it was very useful, and I started missing my high school buddies, and was getting close to my high school reunion in 1992. So I got on Facebook and see what all my fellows are up to, and then started liking agricultural publications and stuff. And then I knew that there was a disconnect with what I do, especially because I own a spraying business, but I
Yeah.
didn't really realize how severe it really was when I got on social media and I seen some of the comments. And so I was reading articles written about me from people who don't do what I do. So it's kind of
Right.
frustrating. So I and then also in California, we have a lot of other issues going on, and I would read those too. And I participated in those articles and whatnot to try to just tell a correct story from my vantage point, because I actually do it. And it sometimes I got rewarded for it. It kind of felt kind of good. Some people say, "Man, I never knew that. That's interesting. Thank you." And then at the same time, my buddy Steve, who's the co-founder of this, he's just as passionate about agriculture, and for a long time. And he made a decal that says "My job depends on ag." There you go.
Yeah, right
And
there.
it was kind of I don't think me and Steve ever expected this to happen like this, but it was kind of we did this. It was his way of trying to get somebody to say, "Hey, look, that guy's job depends on agriculture. You're proudly saying that." And this all kind of manifested from newspaper articles written in California that agriculture only represents 2% of our state economy. And it was frustrating for me because those numbers were just the gross products of the crops we sell versus the state GDP. They left out a guy like me, who's got employees, works in the field every day, and my contribution to the California economy wasn't included in that. So so the idea when Steve made that, I said, "Man, this name, this image we need to get on social media and get to talking to get them to understand that food, clothing, and shelter is all agriculture, and if you are not actively involved in that industry, you are dependent on you, Andy, and me,
Yeah.
and the thousands of men and women that do it every day." And we wanted to try to connect with our consumers and tell them what we're doing out here. Farmers are they're independent. They don't like to talk a lot. They kind of, do their own thing, busy, like I was. But I finally just said, "You know what? We got to do this," and explain, like you're saying, my father-in-law, he grows organic pomegranates, and I spray for both crops. I get hired. People don't understand that organic crops get sprayed too, because they're not any different from a conventional plant from the standpoint they're not immune from all the other issues that hurt conventional crops. They're going to get viruses, they're going to get bacterial infections and mildew and all that stuff. Yeah. So you have to treat it. You have to do something. It would be really irresponsible to use, especially in California, fodder, just to simply plant a seed and then come back to harvest and hope for the best. You're using a lot of resources, and you need to manage that best you can.
Well, so, Eric, I think it's so great what you did, because I feel like the family farmer, there's still this romanticism around it. I think when you think of a farmer, but at the same time, people hear, Monsanto's evil, or GMOs, or if my food isn't organic, I shouldn't eat it. And a lot of farmers they're feeling the heat a little bit. They're like, like for me personally, I'm a 5th generation farmer. I personally raised GMO corn, and I spray my corn with Roundup, and it goes to a dairy. I raise alfalfa hay, and we get paid kind of on its RFV. So it really matters the quality of hay that we produce. Sure. And then, the cows will drink it. And when I hear people like, man, like I just can't have dairy because those cows had, GMO corn in there. And it's farmers feel like, well, I'm not really concerned about your health. I'm not really concerned about, I'm just spraying poison on my crops. But that's why I was really compelled to bring you in, because as an applicator, explain to people who really maybe never been in the fields or don't understand the chemistry, the care and the reporting and the decision-making process that you go through with growers that are facing a decision to spray their crops. Here I want to show everybody who's been following me. This is my hay field right now, and if you guys can see that, I got pretty bad weevils in it, and so my dad and I we're having a decision. Do we spray for weevils, or do we, if you guys can see that there's holes in the leaves, or do we wait till harvest? Right now it's raining really bad, so we can't harvest for a while, and the weevils keep going.
So you guys are just getting weevils at this moment, huh?
We are, yeah. Wow, and so we're in Colorado. We still haven't had first cutting yet, but different crops do different things, right, Eric?
Sure.
Different pests, organic farmers deal with pests, conventional farmers deal with pests. How do you help solve problems? And how do you scout fields and manage like bees and all of those other environmental concerns?
Okay. Well,
I'd love to just shine some light on that.
Give you the condensed version here.
Totally.
I kind of reckon make it like this. In our world, there's the field doctor. I like to say he's the pest control advisor. The men and women that check the fields on a weekly, bi-weekly basis, they're checking for everything. Like I mentioned, they're checking for virus infections. There's wilt issues. There's bacterials. Well, that is bacterial. There's, fungus issues, predation. It could be anything. It could be insects. It could be animals. It could be everything and anything that could cause harm to your crop and health of the crop. That person would find something, found weevils in the field. You got options if you're a conventional farmer to deal with that. If you're an organic farmer, you're pretty limited because weevils are pretty hard to get rid of. That, and they can cause devastation to your crop. But just because your grower, he would probably have to cut it. But the weevils, it's playing a fine game there because they can hurt you the second time. At least here, they can hurt your second cutting as well. But in what happens is usually generally when you have a problem, I'll get what we call a recommendation from the pest control advisor. He's the doctor. I'm kind of like the pharmacist. I have to follow his instruction to the letter. If I don't, it's against the law. So I have to apply the products in the manner that they suggest. And when I get done, I have to report to the county what I sprayed, who I sprayed for, the field location, the wind speed, many, many other things that is kept. In the fresh food industry, it goes to one. Even when I grow melons for myself, for, farm melons on my own. The packing shed, who's going to come harvest my crop, they want to ensure, and they do this for not just myself, but every other one of their customers that I may spray for, they want to check the water source for salmonella. Even though this water's coming from my own well at my own house, they'll come out and test it to ensure that there's not anything that could hurt humans as far as bacterial infections, as salmonella and stuff like that, E. coli. So that water has to be tested, has to be sent to a laboratory to verify that. And when I spray those crops, before I can even spray those crops, we have to go to that level. And like I say, we call it integrated pest management here, is where the pest control advisor is looking, but he's also looking at beneficials and calculating the point to when you actually have to apply a product. Applying a product is the last thing you want to do, because it's going to cost a lot of money to hire me, or the grower's going to have to open up his wallet and buy the material. But the process, when it comes to the materials we use, we have to trust the system. We get tools that we can use, and the process of getting a product from when it's conceived to the end result when we can purchase it. It's been tested and retested over, and we follow those label instructions. And it's in the end, there's pre-harvest intervals that we have to adhere to. So you apply one product on an organic field, for example, may say you can't harvest a crop for 3 days. It may say 12 hours, but those ensure that the studies suggested that material is gone, won't cause any problems for human beings, as long as we follow the rules and guidelines. And it's too risky to not follow the rules anymore in this day and age. It's just not going to happen,
Sure.
And I use this example too, because, and I was speaking earlier, I grew a honeydew field and I had aphids in there, and the pest control advisor kept looking, and you might have to spray, Eric, but golly, you have so many ladybug larvae, it's keeping them under control. So we were talking about what should we do, should I not do, and I ended up growing a complication the whole season. That happens sometimes. It's unlikely in any part of farming, organic and conventional crops will have to be treated. It's just the way it is,
Sure. Well, that's so great. And I saw this post you posted in your community, My Job Depends on Ag, about some of the precision farming stuff that you do with the banding. And talk to me about that. It's not like you get a bunch of chemicals and it's just going everywhere. It's a very precise process, and it's very exact. Talk to people who maybe don't understand this picture. What is going on right here?
Well, a lot of times when people think when spraying, you think of broadcasting, kill everything kind of stuff. This product here is a target for broadleaf weeds, and we just get to the point to be more efficient in everything that we could do. We think about all the ways that a guy can save money and take care of a problem. And in this picture, banding one entire field, we're just applying the product about 10 to 12 inches, 5 to 6 inches on each side of the seed row. And because of GPS, we can get that narrow on a wide swath. I'm doing 60 feet. Back in your area, you guys are probably using big sprayers, but in my area, it's kind of convenient for me to use a 60-foot boom. But it wasn't very long ago that would be harder to accomplish, because without GPS, you don't have every row exactly 40 inches apart from each other that allows you to do that. So the innovation of that is it saves in fuel, diesel, and we would do this product no matter if it was a conventional or a organic crop. If we were using something as far as an insecticide control on cantaloupes, I do a lot of organic spraying on cantaloupes, and the same process would happen there. Why spray the whole field when you could spray a little bit?
Talk a little bit about the cost savings that you do.
Well, in this situation, a lot of people don't like to work in the fields anymore. It's hard to find people,
Totally.
And
you can't find people.
It's hard to find people, and it's hard work. And people don't want to spend a lot of money in their t-shirts, and so this crop is cotton, And the way cotton gets harvested, you can't have a lot of weeds in the field, or it can cost you a substantial amount of money. So you have choices. You can use product, or you can manually remove the weeds with a weeding crew. In this instance, the product, I can't really remember, it was $6 an ounce, let's say. Instead of, and if I was to broadcast it, that would cost me $18 an acre. But in this, of the material, that's not even paying me. And then if you were doing in this situation, you're cutting it down to almost 1 ounce. So you go from 18 to 6. It's a third less, and or 75% less than what it would cost you if you were going to manually take care of this field. You go from $30 an acre possibly to 100. You can go up to 50 to 100 bucks an acre, having to remove those weeds, and that gets expensive, very, very expensive. So unless there's not a lot of people willing to come out and hoe weeds all summer long. I've done that. I've done that in my younger days, but that's just some of the things we got to do. And it's just interesting to see the changes over the years, for sure. There's products out there that are coming out that Coragen. I don't know if you've heard. Have you used Coragen, by the way? For worms. I don't know if you guys get worms in your hay during the summer like we do here, but Coragen it's fairly expensive, but man, it's a great product, because it's basically, in all the studies, it's virtually non-toxic for anything. It's a conventional product. I think it might even have an organic label on it too. It's really cool.
Very cool. And so I see people here. If you have any questions for Erik, I can put them on screen. So feel free to ask in the comments, and we can get there. Anything like organic versus conventional, and kind of the different managements. Because Erik, I'm just so impressed with you, right? And as farmers, sometimes our hours aren't just 9 to 5, right? I saw this. You were doing some wind issues, so you have to work late at night, right? And so I don't know if this is for your own stuff or for customers, but talk to me about. Yeah, I mean, you're helping people get by and showing up for farmers and being an advocate for them. What drives you to show up in the late at night and like?
I guess I
just want people to get the farmer that's willing to do that for somebody else, right?
It's one of those things. I really enjoy what I do, believe it or not. I really, really do. When I'm in there doing the work, I really enjoy what I'm doing. It's being part of the spoke in the wheel, really. I think all of us kind of lose. And I think I bring that perspective because like I said, I grew up in the city most of my life, and to get in it, I have this awe feeling all the time. Like, I can't believe I'm in the middle of this. And so when I get up in the morning and I see family farms, tractors starting up, and I see swathers rolling down the road, or I see reefer truck after reefer truck heading to Los Angeles and San Francisco, man, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. You see, or going out of the state. It's and a lot of these products, these fields, I go across quite a few of them, so I know I had a hand in it all. So I think that's what the driving thing is. It's the industry, to me, is just incredible. There's a lot of discussions on how we can do things better, and I don't want people to know, don't think for an instant that we don't rack our brains over being more efficient, because we do. It's just something we're doing all the time. And we talk about it, when we're amongst our own farming friends. We never stop talking about, hey, you try this, you try that. Can I get away with less? Can I do less of this? Can I do less of that? And the conversations are always revolving around efficiency. And that is cool to be part of that.
Well, it's very cool. And I think it's cool what you've done with your Facebook group. You're in California, and I feel like really connected and learning from you. And a lot of farmers feel like they have a voice to speak out, because we see that too. In my little corner of the United States, like, our hay and our corn goes to one dairy. We have a great relationship with them, and we would.
Well, Go ahead. I had a feeling that when we started this page, that other growers outside of our area, I may not know exactly what you're facing, but I know we all face challenges, and right. I wanted the general public to get in this state, to believe anything anymore. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of sad that we have a trust issue. And believe me, opening myself out, my family gets tired of it, you know, because
Sure.
I expose, you know, a lot of personal stuff out there, and I open up. You know, part of me sometimes I might have my moments maybe where, you know, this is pretty hard on everybody, just because there's you lose a sense of a little bit of privacy with it, but for the greater good, I just felt that if with our page, there's no paid sponsor. People pay $5 for that decal there, and we're taking the money and giving it back to kids in form of educations and other pro ag things. You know, I'm making a dime off of this. That if people heard that, and there was nobody making any revenue or no corporate, you know, bad so-called corporate sponsorship behind, then maybe the message is authentic and genuine, which it is. And that's been the driving goal, you know.
Well, that's so cool. And Eric, I got a lot of fitness and health coaches follow me. People trying to get healthy. People really just care about food fueling their body. And I really encourage everybody who's watched this live to go check out your page. And where can they find that?
Yeah, we on Facebook. My Job Depends on Ag. There's 2 pages, and one of them is the group where there's 72,000 people, and we manage that as anybody who's a member of that can post and talk and ask questions or whatever they want. They have the same access to 72,000 people as I do. Yeah. And then we have the like page, and you know, understand how like pages work. That's more of our message and what we're talking about. That one's a lot more mild, because just like social media, you know, things can get kind of heated in debates and topics and the politics of the day. Yeah. On our public page, but we also have a website, myjobdependsonag.com, and Twitter and Instagram too.
There you go. Well, follow Erik everywhere, because he has the heart of a teacher, and for one, he shoots amazing pictures of him out on the job, and like what you said, Erik, the way you authentically share how your day is going, the stresses you're dealing with, what people are feeling. So many people feel like you speak for them, and if you want to really get what a farmer kind of feels like, goes through, what they worry about, who they care about, what they stand for, go follow that page and just kind of soak up what farmers are dealing with. And when you really get how food is created, how much the people who grow the food care for the food that they produce, I just feel like you guys will get connected more to what you're putting in your body from like that grower level. So go check out Erik's page, and I'm in there too, y'all. My Job Depends on Ag. I'm gonna put a link in the comments below. And feel free to jump in there, ask Erik any questions. He's so great, and there's a lot of other amazing people in there as well. Will answer your questions. There are no dumb questions. Like if you haven't grown up on a farm, like that's kind of why that page exists and that group exists, is to educate and inform people about growing practices and precision farming. So it'd be super awesome if you would share this live, maybe with some maybe non-farmer friends, you know, like, hey, like this is how your food is grown, and just create some more awareness about My Job Depends on Ag. And Erik, I just want to just thank you once again for being so generous with your time and talking to my audience. It was very helpful, and guys, so thank you so much. I hope you guys have an amazing evening. I hope you all grow your dreams, and I'll catch you later.
All right, man.